Hey y'all. Sorry if I'm a minute late or so. I didn't even realize that the time had been up. Give me 1 second. So, um, I'll wait a minute for people to come in, but I just wanted to say that why the hell I don't know. It looks really red for some reason. I think it's the lighting. I'm using a new camera, so maybe the lighting. I have no idea. I mess with see, I gotta like hold it back. I mess with the settings a little bit on the point lover on the Elgato face cam thing, and now my hair looks bright red when it's not. So I have no idea why it looks this way. It might be the saturation, but I can't fix it now because it's too late. And for some reason, I look really bright. I don't know why it's doing that. Let me see if I move it. I don't know. I gotta mess with it. It's new. I'm not using my normal camera. Anyway, I brought a little friend. He's new. Hey Jeremiah. So I'm really surprised he's being this calm right now because he's been a psychopath for the past like hour, just getting into everything. And I like you have a Twilight movie. I swear to God, I don't know why it's like this. It's the Elgato. I think I turned the my face is like so pale. I think it's because I turned like a couple settings on that just totally like, and I can't open it up now because I was trying to mess with it before, but I was already in StreamYard and it kept saying that I couldn't change the settings in the face cam thing, and I've never used this camera, so I'm trying to like turn the brightness down on my computer. So we haven't named this guy yet. Thank you, but my hair isn't normally this color, and see if I kind of like turn to the side, maybe if I move back a little bit, I don't know, it makes me look really bright for some reason. I'm gonna fix it by next time. I shouldn't have touched the settings. Anyway, so yeah, we don't have a name for him. This is an Asian water monitor. My shirt's all dirty too because he pooped on me before I came on. So he's an Asian water monitor. Let me see if I can pull up how big Asian water monitors get. But if you have never seen okay, has anyone ever seen the show Jessie on the Disney Channel? They have an Asian water monitor named Mr. Kipling. Uh, it's huge. They get huge. Um, my son's been begging for one, but I kept saying no because why are you creeping up on my neck like that, you weirdo? I kept saying no because they get huge. Like, all right, like they get. I'm not. I know I look like a redhead, fancy Macy. So Dave gave me his streaming camera, and it's a whole different thing. And I went into like the settings to try and like, and it looked good in the settings. Like, um, I turned the temperature up a little bit because I feel like the chair kind of like flushes me out. Yeah, I got pooped on before I came on. The chair kind of flushes me out. So, hey, Queen. I turned like the saturation up on the camera and it looked normal on there, but now that I'm on screen, it makes my hair look bright red, which just my hair's dark brown and black on top kind of. So, um and it makes my face oh, I'm sorry. It makes my face look really pale for some reason, and I look like I don't know why I can't. It's supposed to the saturation's supposed to make my face look lighter, but for some reason it's super bright, and I can't figure out why. So I'll have to mess with it later. But I'm gonna have to have like StreamYard and that up and fine tune it because they look different on each screen. But anyways, so yeah, I have two of these now. I will say, don't ever send your significant other to a reptile show with his 16-year-old kid unattended, because this is what you come home to. But yeah, my son's been begging me for one, and I've said no because they get bigger than dogs. Think like small Komodo dragon. Here, I'll show you a picture. I get a picture. Hold on. I can get one. And he came home with two. So this will be fun. I don't know how we're going to do it, but we'll figure it out. All right, ready? Share screen. That's how big they get. So now I have two of these. But yeah, if anyone's ever seen Jesse, Mr. Kipling is the same thing. It's a little itty bitty baby right now. I'm surprised he's being so good. I'm trying to get him. Let me see if I can move him forward. Come on, you. There he is. All right. Hold on. Let me get rid of this so you can see him a little better. There you go. So y'all have to help me come up with names for them both. And the problem with these two is, like, I had to get him early, like a half hour early, and sit with him because they're really, really smart. And the one you found hissed and tried to eat you. So they're really, really smart. They're like little baby raptors. Like, they're really smart. And he... Where did you go? I didn't. You have to, like, build trust with them. Hey, Molson Man. You have to build trust with them because, again, they're really smart and they'll see you as a danger, and you have to build trust. So I didn't want to spook him while he was sleeping. Sorry, the camera's backwards. So come on. Come on. There you are. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. I can't get him. Get up here. There we go. He's probably hating me for this right now. Okay. Here we go. Let me hold him up close for you. Say hi, friend. Look how cute you are. He's probably like, is that me? There. So yeah, I have no names for them yet. Thank you, Naughty Audie. So I changed cameras. I'll explain this again. I took Dave's streaming camera because it's a better camera. Because mine has, like, problem autofocusing. Like, it takes a while if I move, and it was getting on my nerves. So Dave's like, try mine. It's better. Pointer lover, I have no idea yet. I have them housed together right now, but I'm going to have to move them soon because I don't know if they are both male. And if they are both male, they will probably try and kill each other. So I will have to. Yeah, he'll grow as big as the one in the pic, probably, for sure. Yeah, this one, yeah, they'll get, like, they're like mini Komodo dragons, but still big, like Komodo dragons, but just not as big. But, oh yeah, so I didn't want to spook him while he was sleeping, so I've been sitting here with him for like an hour, and he's just been trying to get into everything, just climbing behind my computer and the wires, just everywhere. He pooped on me, so I just kept this dirty shirt on just in case, because I was like, I wiped it off, but call them divorce 1 and divorce 2. Yeah, Sarah, that's about what's going to happen when he came home with 2 of these. Now, mind you, I already have enough pets, so he was going to go buy his kid just a little snake for his birthday, because that's what he wanted. Now I have 2 of these. I shouldn't be drinking this late, but my kid's at his dad's till tomorrow, so YOLO. You love for other people to have pet reptiles so you can see them from afar. Well, you can see all mine from afar. And if anyone saw my thumbnail, it's so cute. I put my own lizard's pictures on it. And I was just so proud of that thumbnail. But I didn't want to put these guys on it because I wanted to surprise everyone. But yeah, I don't know if they're both male. I won't be able to tell till later because I won't be able to, you can't really tell until they get a little bigger. When they're babies, they're really hard to sex unless I bring them to the vet and find out. So I could do that too. But he's being really good, so I guess he can stay here for the show. You gonna stay here? I'm gonna call him a he for now. I have no idea if it's a he or she. But and the other one I was gonna bring up, but he's is Annalise, they will still well, sometimes they say they get into like a little teenage phase where they get a little feisty, but as long as I keep handling them and surprisingly, all right, so I used to have a Savannah Monitor, but I ended up giving it to a friend who hers died and she really wanted one. But usually monitors, they're wild caught. It's very rare that you get one that's hatched from an egg, and if from like a breeder, and if you do, they cost a lot of money, and they usually like tame them first. Usually wild caught monitors are kind of like little assholes, and if you even go near them, they'll huff and puff and try and tail whip you and bite you. These two are like really, really nice for some reason. This guy especially, he's very tame. The other one's tame. The other one is tame too. Like he'll let me touch him and mess with him, but he doesn't like to be picked up out of the tank. Like if I even try to, even in the least bit, pick him up out of the tank, he just swan dives off of me and goes wherever he lands. So, and they're fast, like fast as fuck boy fast. Really fast. So I didn't want to take the other one out because he's crazy and I was afraid I'd lose him. Yeah, no, I don't do so well with anything that can bite me other than my children. Yeah, well, you can kind of tell if they're gonna bite. They'll like huff and puff at you and stuff. These two are just really curious. You can see he's sticking his tongue at me. That's how they smell. That's how they. So if lizards are out, if they're ever out and about and they are licking, it means that they are smelling and they are mapping their area. They are able to tell where they are by smelling with their tongue. And they will remember your smell, and they'll remember the smell of the area and things like that. Also, they have, I don't know if you can see it, but he has like a little dot on the top of his head. See the dot? That is a third eye where they can see shadows and things to warn them that there's predators above. And all the lizards have them. I find that blue tail skink last month, it was so cool. I only saw it for maybe 1 second. It was gone. Oh, blue tongue skink or blue tongue skinks are adorable. Naughty, they actually do. So bearded dragons, I swear my bearded dragons are affectionate. They'll even like wiggle in. They'll wiggle into your neck and cuddle. I think they're affectionate, but science says that bearded dragons' brains don't have that part of your brain where you could feel love. But these, I believe, do. The monitors have like a different wire up, and they can, and leopard geckos can feel love. Bearded dragons mainly, they can like you for you being the person who gives them food, and you're warm, but I don't believe bearded dragons can actually feel love. Leopard geckos can, and I believe monitors can. Well, at least they have that part of the brain that does. But my bearded dragons show more affection than my other animals, actually. Like, my bearded dragons actually, like, snuggle in. Like, I have videos of my bearded dragons, like, snuggling into my son. Actually, I might have it on my Facebook where I can show you guys. Hold on a second. Let me see. I might be able to show you the video. Give me 1 second. I gotta find my own. I send videos to myself. Maybe I didn't send it. I have a video. I'll show it by the end of the live, but basically they do like a little wiggle in. Oh, you have 2 dragons, Pointer Lover? Aren't they awesome? Yeah, they love to be handled. Usually they love to snuggle. They'll crawl right up in here and they'll do this little wiggle and wiggle themselves in. I have a video of my beta dragon and like literally climbed into my son's shirt while he was sleeping and like wiggled in his shirt and went to sleep. It was the cutest video ever. Oh, come on, your nails are getting stuck to my shirt. Boy, where are you going? Where are you going? All right. Let me start my Kristin Smart stuff. And then at the end, I will show you all my reptiles, but I'm just going to have to warn you guys. I'm going to have to like leave and come back because reptiles are very much, they don't like being around other reptiles. And if I had them all in the same room, they'd probably try and kill each other. So I have to get them one at a time. But yeah, I would say they're affectionate, naughty. If I had to give you an answer, I would say that they are. In my opinion, they are. All right, so I have a Google slide. Give me 1 second. I should try and keep him up here. I have a friend that's actually been at the Kristin Smart trial. Hopefully she sees my message and comes in tonight. If not, maybe she'll be willing to come on another show and talk about it. But if she can come on, I would love that. But okay. You have 2 adopted oh yeah, you did tell me that, Pointer Lover, Thelma and Louise. I remember you saying that. Hey, Britt. Oh, Britt, here, you want to see my new baby? Hold on. Let me just remove this for a second. They don't have names yet, though. All right, sir, you be good while I talk about this case, please. No getting into trouble. All right. I made a little slideshow for y'all. Hopefully you like it. Please get them one at a time. I will. I promise I'll get them one at a time. But I'm going to have to like walk out and wait a minute and I'll come back in. So make sure you stay. I'm going to be right back when I do get them at the end of the stream. But if y'all haven't seen my thumbnail for this live, you got to check it out. It's so cute. I put my own dragon's pictures on there. All right. So who was Kristin Smart? I don't know if y'all will be able to see. Oh, did you just hiss at something? What are you doing? I just heard him make like a weird noise. Kristen Denise Smart was born on February 20th, 1977 in Augsburg, Bavaria, West Germany, to Stan and Denise Smart, both teachers to children of American military personnel. She had one brother, one sister. When she was a child, she moved with her family to Stockton, California. She attended and graduated Stockton's Lincoln High School in 1995. She had previously worked as a lifeguard and a camp counselor at this camp in Hawaii. I should have put the name of the camp, but before she disappeared, she worked at this camp. I think that's a picture of her right there at the camp. And she said it was literally like her dream job. That's her and her brother and sister, and I think her and her sister. She sometimes came off as shy. She loved summer and traveling, and she was an exchange student in Venezuela for a year. She also loved music, especially Sheryl Crow. And I got a lot of these pictures off KristenSmart.org. Yes, Yonkers. I have that on my thing. Yeah, she's buried in the back. The watch alarm was going off on the flower bed, and they were looking for her. It's crazy. And then eventually it died, and they couldn't find her. But they believe that she's under the concrete. Is that you, Adam Yonkers? I thought it was Adam, right? The night in question, on May 25th, 1996, Kristen was a freshman at California Polytechnic State University in San Luis. Where are you going? Sorry. San Luis Obispo. I think I'm saying that right. That evening in her dorm, she begged for her friend Margarita Campos to go out. She recalls Kristen listening to Cyndi Lauper's Girls Just Want to Have Fun on her cassette player. That night, they met up with some girls to attend a small gathering, and they drove around in the girls' truck for a while. When they weren't ready to turn in for the night, the girls dropped them off at Foothill Road and California Boulevard. They walked for a bit searching for a party, but the campus was pretty quiet that weekend because of the Memorial Day holiday. Margarita started getting tired and had to use the bathroom and decided she was going to return back to the dorms. Kristen got upset and was begging her to stay with her, but she really had to go to the bathroom and she wanted to go home. So she gave Kristen her key because the doors locked. I think they locked around midnight. And so basically, like, she gave her the key and ran back to the dorms before they locked them for the night. Soon, Kristen finds a party at Kappa Chi, like a Kappa Chi frat party on Crandall Way for a guy they referred to as Swampy Fells. I think that's his nickname. That's what they call him, Swampy Fells. According to a student who was there, Trevor Bolter, there was 20 or so people. Sorry, I'm getting distracted because I can feel his claws on my neck. He's doing something under my hair. There was 20 or so people there. According to Trevor, while he was talking to his friend Dominic, a girl came up to him and said, "Hi." Yay, Lex. Hey. You want to see my lizard real quick? Hold on. I don't know if you can see him. You know, I look like a mermaid right now with this Ariel hair, but it's not my real hair. It's just the saturation. I tried to fix it because I was looking flushed, and now I look red. Can you see it? Okay, back to what I was saying. So Trevor was talking to his friend Dominic, and a girl walked up to him and said, "Hey, I'm Roxy," and kissed him. He says she was wearing vinyl shorts or board shorts. Now, it was Kristen, but she was, on my neck. It was actually Kristen, but she was calling herself Roxy at the party for whatever reason. He says she was wearing vinyl shorts or board shorts, a thin gray t-shirt, and sneakers. Kristen pulled him into the bathroom and started to smooth her makeup and asked him if he thought she was ugly and who he thinks she would hook up with. He said to pick him, of course. He was like, "Pick me," And she told him, like, leave the bathroom. He said he didn't smell any alcohol on her and never saw her drinking. Trevor says as soon as he walked down the bathroom, another guy came up and said, "I'd like to know what you did with her in the bathroom," which Trevor thought was really weird. Trevor said he didn't do anything, and the guy laughed and almost seemed relieved. So he thought that, the guy was her boyfriend. Later, Trevor identified that guy to be Paul Flores. Trevor spoke to her again in the backyard, where she told him she thought Ross, this basketball player. Oh, sorry, I skipped a part. So while they were in the bathroom, she asked him, like, who she could hook up with, and he said, you should hook up with me. And then she said, well, what about this guy Ross? He's like this basketball player, I guess, that she was into. And then, Trevor left the bathroom. Then Paul asked Trevor about it. And then Trevor sees her again in the backyard, where she told him that she thought Ross hated her, and then she briefly kissed him again. He said she didn't smell like alcohol, but she was acting really strange, like she was tripping on something. So then Kristen passes out on the lawn of the party, and a partygoer named Eric and his friend Nathan tried to convince her to get up, but she was not fully coherent and couldn't understand what they were saying. She left the party around 2 a.m. accompanied... Hold on a second. What are you doing? Please tell me you didn't know this and want me again. No. Alright. She left the party around 2 a.m. accompanied by a boy named Tim Davis, a senior who lived off campus, and a girl named Cheryl Anderson, a freshman who lived in the Sierra Madre dorms, and, of course, Paul Flores, who caught up with them late. So they're walking with her, trying to carry her home. And then Paul Flores, runs up and, oh, I'll help, and sticks his arm around her. So Cheryl and Tim separate from them, and Paul, who was the last one with her, said that he would walk her back to her dorm. So, right here, this is where Maria. This is from pictures from your own backyard website. This is where I got a lot of my information too. It's a really great podcast. Your own backyard covers the Kristin Smart story and has a bunch of very detailed episodes with all the information, the depositions, all that. So make sure you check that out. I think it's just yourownbackyard.com. You can probably put it. Let me see. I can tell you right now what the website is if you guys want to listen to it, because I was listening to it all night. Yourownbackyardpodcast.com here. I think he's going to sleep in my hair. All right. So this is the pathway between Santa Lucia and Muir dorms. I think that's what it's called, Muir. And then here is a mugshot of Paul Flores. I was trying to find the one. I don't know if this is the one where Paul has a black eye. So it looks like his eye's a little messed up on this side. But basically, Paul ends up going to the police station a few days later over a different reason. He was driving without a license and had a warrant out for his arrest, and they took his picture. And he had a black eye. So it was only a few days before that she went missing. So, all right. So the next morning, Kristen's dorm friends, Jennifer, Margarita, and Corinna, realized Kristen had not come home. They were concerned because this is not her normal behavior. By Sunday, she still had not come home, and they were really worried naturally at this point. Jennifer called Slow PD, which I think is it's not Cal Poly. I don't know. I guess I forget what SLO is. But anyway, St. Lucia maybe? They called SLO PD and was promptly told it was a campus matter. Then they called Cal Poly PD, who said it was a holiday weekend and people do this all the time. Jennifer called again Monday, but she still had not come home, and they said to call back Tuesday if she did not show up to class. But she did not show up for class on Tuesday. Jennifer called Cal Poly PD, and they finally took the police report. Derek, Paul's roommate, said Cal Poly police interviewed Paul on Tuesday, May 28th. When Derek asked Paul about it, he said he walked two girls to their dorms after a party. Paul told him one of the girls went missing, and Derek joked that Paul must have had something to do with it. And then he made a joke back. Oh, hold on. Can y'all hear me? I don't know what happened, but all my devices said they weren't connected. So I'm gonna have to figure that out so I can show you guys my lizards. I don't know what happened. Hold on a minute. Give me 1 second, guys. I think I can figure it out. Hold on. Mine. It's not working. No, I didn't kick myself off. I was trying to figure out how to get my camera to come back, but it's not working. It just like turned off. Like my camera's on, but it's saying devices not connected. Oh, there we go. Okay, I fixed it. Sorry, guys. All right. I don't know what happened. All my stuff just like randomly decided just fuck up. All right. So anyway, can y'all hear me? Is everything back to normal? So the next morning, Kristen's dorm friends, Jennifer. Oh wait, I said that. Where was I? Okay, so Paul told him one of the girls went missing, and Derek joked that Paul must have done something with her. And then Paul joked back and said, "Yeah, she's at my mom's house eating lunch with her." And then he said after that day, Paul's demeanor had become more serious. It is not known if Kristen made it back to her dorm. All right. Yeah, I'm glad. I don't know what happened. It just totally all my shit went off. So anyway, Paul Flores is a freshman majoring. If it does it again, I'm here. I just have to unmute. That never happened to me before. And this is a new camera, so like I didn't realize I could just unmute and keep talking because it kept saying devices not connected. So I thought my microphone wasn't, but my microphone still was. So next time I'll just keep talking and fix it. But I didn't know that I could do that. So just a FYI, if it does it again, I'm still here. All right. So the main suspect, Paul Flores. Paul was a freshman majoring in food science. He's from Arroyo Grande, California, and he was not a very good student, failing several of his courses with a combined GPA of 0.6. The only class that he passes in his freshman year is a bowling elective. It's pretty sad. It made me wonder if he has like a learning disability or like if he was on the spectrum, because it sounds like from the explanations of people that he was awkward and he didn't really understand social cues, if that makes sense. Like he was like he didn't know how to read a room, like that's the vibe I got from him. He is the number one suspect because he was the last to walk Kristen home, and because many girls said that he was weird, often showed up unannounced and staring at women. Cheryl, the woman who was walking home with Kristen that night, had known him from before and said he was very creepy. Her and her friends called him Chester the Molester because he was aggressively flirty and was often trying to grope women and forcefully tried to kiss Cheryl's roommate at another party. Tim Davis, the guy who was walking Kristen home with them, told police at Swampy Fell's party that he heard a loud crash, and when he looked over, Kristen and Paul were on the floor with Paul on top of her. Also, Trevor claims Paul was the one worried if Trevor had done anything. Oh, yeah. So Trevor was the one who claimed that Paul was the one who asked him if he had done anything with Kristen in the bathroom that night. Another woman was asking around at the party for a piece of gum when Paul told her he had some, and she followed him to the backyard. And once they were alone, he tried to kiss her. And when she ran back inside, he cornered her in the hallway and tried again. You're going off? Yeah, I could hear him talking really loud out there, so probably. On the walk home, Cheryl claimed Paul and Kristen would stop walking from time to time, and Paul had told Cheryl that she could keep going, but she felt weird about it and stayed with them because she didn't want to walk alone. When she finally got to her dorm, Paul asked her for a kiss, and she declined. He asked for a hug, she declined, and then a kiss on a cheek, and she declined, all the while he had his arm around Kristen's torso. Oh yeah, you're on a win streak? Paul also had several documented incidents too. In December of '95, a girl called Cal Poly police and reported a man who climbed the trellis of her apartment. So a trellis is like, where people put those like wooden things up the wall and the vines grow on them type thing. Or like in Greece when what's her name? Rizzo was gonna climb out the window down where she climbed down that that was a trellis. Paul he climbed the trellis of her apartment and was peeking through her windows, and when police got there, it ended up being a drunk Paul Flores. In January of '96, he was caught drinking and driving and got his license suspended. In March 3rd, 3 female students reported getting creepy calls and messages on their answer machine, and the girls reported they believe it was Paul Flores after the trellis incident. So it was the same girls who had seen him on the trellis, and then they started getting like really creepy calls, where this guy just kept calling and hanging up and not saying anything, and they believed that it was him. Some girls referred to him as Scary Paul or Psycho Paul, who went to school with him at Arroyo Grande High School. An anonymous interviewer on Your Own Back Door said there was always something off about him, and it was understood that he was odd. She was not surprised about him being the number one suspect because he was so weird. His looks even freaked people out because he was very like white and pale, almost appearing albino. Several of the interviews he had, they'd be like, "Oh, that albino kid!" Like they just said he had like really blonde hair and really pale skin, and he has these bulgy eyes that like stood out because he was always staring, and he also had a bad stutter. After a prom party one night, Paul got mad at some girl and picked her up and threw her. Sometimes he would just show up uninvited to parties, like nobody would invite him, and then they would just be there, and he would just like pop out of a bush and be like, "Hey," nobody ever invited him there. He would just be there. One time, some of friends found him lying next to a passed out drunk girl in a bedroom, and his excuse was saying that she might puke and he was staying with her. And then another girl found some roses hanging on a fence outside of her house, but they were like dead because they had been there for a while, and someone told her they had seen Paul leave them there. Jessica showed a coworker of his saying he was not very talkative and he would mumble a lot under his breath, and he seemed to take joy in making people uncomfortable. Seemed his parents tried to do whatever they could to help him fit in. Jessica noticed that Paul would follow her home on multiple nights. She would get home and see him behind her. When she asked, he said he wanted to know where she lived. And she also said her driveway was like a mile off the road, and sometimes he would follow her all the way up her driveway. Sometimes he would show up while she was out with her friends, and they joked he was like her little admirer. Several male coworkers told him to stop following her and to leave her alone. She would get so creeped out sometimes her roommate would actually come pick her up from work so she wasn't alone. I don't have a PayPal. Well, I do have a PayPal actually. Point all over. I can send. Hold on. I get it for you. I don't know what my PayPal is, but I have a Cash App. I do have PayPal. I just have to look it up. Give me a second. Let me keep talking until I find it. I have to put all this stuff in. Hold on. So Paul would often pick on girls physically. He would smack the back of their heads or try to push them into the freezer at work, but on a constant regular, but it was more like on a constant regular basis. So you know how like people will like, just be flirty and like do like, push you or do things like that, he would like do it all the time. You know what I mean? Like he was like really aggressive about it. And it wasn't just like here and there flirty. It was like all the time. And people like women got really annoyed with him because of God darn it. Hold on. All right, so the investigation. So a few months after Paul's DUI, he got caught with a suspended license and never went to court, and they issued a warrant for his arrest. On May 27th, cops knocked on Paul's door. His dad said he was not home, but would bring him to the station later. Ruben, his dad, brought him to the station, and Paul was booked with a right black eye. Now, this is really important because they wouldn't have this documented if he had not had to go into the station that night, because had they never gone into the station that night, he would have never been documented with a black eye, and they would never have that evidence. And he also lied about his black eye. Oh, he's stepping on my bear. Okay. Where was I? Yeah, the February 1996, and she went missing. May, I think it was the 26th, the 25th or 26th. So they basically knocked on his door to bring him in, and he brought him in, and they took this picture, and he had the black eye. Cal Poly Police never. So while the Cal Poly, he's all up in the back of my neck, like in my hair. Cal Poly Police never noted a black eye, but after speaking with Cheryl and Tim, they questioned Paul about it, and they also took note that he had scratches on the back of his hands and what looked like rug burn on his knees. He told them he got the injuries on Monday, the same day that the mugshot was taken playing basketball with his friend Jeremy. But then when they interviewed his friend Jeremy said, oh yeah, total prize, pointer lover. Then when they interviewed his friend Jeremy said he saw him on Sunday, which was like the day after she went missing, or 2 days after. I think she went missing late Saturday night. I gotta look at what the date was. It was either Friday night or Saturday night. But he had a black eye. He's seen him on Sunday, and he had a black eye. And Jeremy asked him, well, how did you get it? And he said he didn't know. So he told them he got playing with basketball with Jeremy. Then Jeremy told him he didn't know. So police confront him again on June 19th, where they have a second interview with him. And Paul changes his story, saying that early Monday morning, which is still after Jeremy claims he had a black eye, or he's seen him with a black eye, he says he got it at like 2 a.m. while trying to remove the stereo in his car in the middle of the night and smacked his face on the steering wheel. Which is weird, because if you're in the middle of your car... Oh, my Cash App is just... I think it's Kate. I think it's just... Hold on, I'll tell you right now. I think it's just the little money sign, and Kate does crime with no spaces, but let me check just to be sure. How do I look? Yeah, like the money sign, and then like Kate with a capital C, D with a capital D, and C with a capital C. I don't know if that matters, but it's just the money sign in here. I'll type it so you know it. I put it in my like description, but I just don't feel like right reading the comment chat without being monetized. I probably should, but I just, I don't know. I don't like it. So, but thank you, Pointer Lover. I appreciate it. So, which I think is weird because, hey, Pam, so he says he hit his right eye as he was pulling the stereo out. So to hit your right eye on the steering wheel, you'd have to like turn your head and whack it. You know what I mean? Like away from the stereo. So I don't even know how that makes sense, but whatever. And it doesn't even make sense because they told him, Jeremy told him Sunday, and then he still said early Monday morning. So they asked him why he lied, and he said that he didn't think it was a big deal, and he was afraid it would make him seem like a klutz. Now, here's another crazy thing, is that he told his friend Derek, all right, so Derek was like his roommate at Cal Poly, that he didn't know how he got it. Or no, sorry. He told Derek that, the heck did he tell Derek? That somebody hit him or something like that. He told Derek a whole nother story, put it that way. So at that point, he decides to end the interview, and he tells him that he has to go help his mom clean up concrete, which I think is important too, because that's later on the story. But keep note, this is June 19th. So she goes missing the end of May. This is June 19th, and he says, like, he's not answering more questions. He's done. He's leaving. So Cal Poly did not start investigating. Hey, Aaron T. Cal Poly did not start investigating till almost a week went by because they thought she may be a runaway. So it took them 11 days to actually start collecting things from Kristin Smart's dorm. Campus police did not search Paul's dorm until 16 days later. Oh, you have info about the case? Oh, yes, of course. I'll have lots of questions. For sure. If you have any input, just type it in chat. Like if I say anything that, sparks your interest and you have any input you can add, feel free to just add it. So they didn't search his dorm room until 16 days later. By this time, most of the students had left for the summer, and Paul had cleared out his stuff in his room by then, and his room was cleaned by janitors thoroughly. So by the time they get there, it's all cleaned up if they could find anything. Well, then they reached out to Cal Poly for their phone calls, and Cal Poly had already purged them because, mind you, all the kids are out of school now. Like, this is way later. They took so long to get this going. So, this is an actual note that one of the investigators took. It said, "Hey, Nina Mina." It says, "Victim attends party and does not come home afterwards. Does not call friends or family and skip school. During the course of my investigation, I have spoken with many people associated with Smart. They all have told stories that agreed with each other. The stories included the following information. Smart does not have any close friends at Cal Poly. Smart was under the influence of alcohol on Friday night. Smart was talking with and socializing with several different males at the party. Smart lives her life in her own way, not conforming to typical teenage behavior. These observations are in no way implying that her behavior caused her disappearance, but they provide a picture of her conduct on the night of her disappearance." They're the actual notes of investigator, even after they interviewed Cheryl, Tim, Paul, and several other people, and that they already knew at this point that Paul had been a total creep. Yes, thank you again, Pointer Lover. That was nice of you. I appreciate it. All right, so they said there was no evidence of criminal activity, and they are processing the case as an adult missing of unusual circumstances. Yeah, they started investigating on Tuesday. Yep. Well, they tried calling them, right, and they said that they they wouldn't start until Tuesday when she had not shown up for school because they had believed that she was a runaway because it was a holiday weekend. I had to keep my air off in here because I have my lizard and I'm sweating. He's being really good though. I'll give him that. I want to grab them so I can show the new people again. I'll have to grab them before I go get my other one so I can show the new people who came in. But an update for people who just came in late. I have 2 new lizard. Well, they're monitors actually. They're Asian water monitors, and they get humongous. If you ever seen the show Jessie on the Disney Channel, Mr. Kipling on that show is what they are. And they're babies now, and it's on my back sleeping, but you're the police, Matt? Oh, yeah. So, Cal Poly ends up passing the investigation to San Luis Obispo County Sheriff's Office on June 26th, and it only takes 3 days for them to organize a search with over 400 volunteers on campus. They bring scent tracking dogs in, and they scour the buildings, and no dogs alert until they reach room 128. And I'm sure you can guess whose room that is. Paul Flores, in this Santa Lucia building. Yeah, they told her to call back if she didn't return on Tuesday, which kind of infuriates me because I feel like even with like college students, they're still young, like they should be on that. But I understand at the same time. Okay, that's how I spelled it wrong. I did it without an O. But so they pass off to the sheriff's office, and they bring in 4 separate dogs independently, scent tracking dogs, and they all alert on the same room. So like one at a time, they bring them in, and they all alert on the same room, unbeknownst to each other. After the dogs are led through the floors of the rest of the building, and none of them alert anywhere else but that room. So one of the dogs, a boxer named Tori, alerts for decomp in the corner of the bed frame, and I think it also alerted in like a trash bin or something like that. Thank you, Pointer Lover. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I do. I will use it to buy some snacks for my my new lizards. On the telephone, bed, and trash can. Okay, I missed the telephone part, but yeah. So the corner of the bed, like the bed frame, the trash can, and the telephone, which I would imagine the telephone because he called his dad, right? Probably to come help him. So Derek, Flores' dorm mate, was gone that weekend, and Flores had the room to himself. So I'm sure he saw an open opportunity. So now you have a guy who's very aggressive with women, who doesn't seem to understand normal social cues, trying to just kiss women and groping them and staring at them, being a total creeper, peeking in some girl's window while he's drunk. And he seemed like he got worse as he got drunk. Well, now you got a drunk guy, and you have Kristin Smart, who seems like she's drugged and she's passed out on the lawn, and now they're walking her home and she can barely walk, and everyone separates and Paul's left with her. Paul also told he told investigators that he had walked to his dorm and left, and she went to her dorm, but then he told his friend that I think Derek, that he had walked her all the way to the door. Derek went home and so Paul knew he wasn't going to be back for a while too. Yes, so he told 2 different stories about that. I mean, it's minor, but still, it's important to note that he told his friend he walked her all the way to the door, and then he told police that he walked up until his dorm room. So Paul told investigators that he had stopped at his dorm and Kristen walked to Muir Hall alone, but he told Derek that he walked Kristen all the way to Muir Hall door. Oh, this is small. I didn't realize how little this would look. All right. So where is Kristen's body? Well, 3 weeks after the search, police are able to finally search Ruben and Susan Flores' home on July 2nd. police sees a black police baton hanging in the entryway, which is illegal to have. And they find 3 separate Telegram Tribune articles about Kristen's disappearance. One was under Paul's mattress, one was under Ruben's mattress, and one was in the kitchen. And they found a receipt from Cal Poly dorm room 128. And what's strange about the articles is that Paul had not been publicly listed as a suspect yet. So, I mean, I don't know, I guess he was questioned, so maybe that you could say they had a reason, but he wasn't publicly listed as a suspect. So why would they be saving articles and hiding them under their mattress? It's just really bizarre. And it's really bizarre that Paul had one under his mattress and Ruben had one separately under his mattress. Two students were walking. Kristin Smart. Yeah, so it was Cheryl and Tim, right? Cheryl Anderson and Tim. Hold on, I wrote his name. Cheryl. Where did I put it? Am I going upstairs? Oh, here they go. Hold on. I didn't push down. Cheryl Anderson and Tim something. I can't remember Tim's last name, and I can't find it. I wrote what their names are. Whatever. Tim Davis. That's it. Yeah. So where was I? Yeah, he's not been listed as a suspect, so that, in my opinion, they really didn't have a reason to be saving the articles, besides the fact that Paul was questioned by the police. They did not bring cadaver dogs or forensics team, and they did not search the vehicles either. They claimed they were just looking for Kristen's belongings. So Davis, that's right. So here's another really important part, is that when they had searched their home, Susan had not been living at home. She was living in her own rental property on another street, and she actually had put the property up for rent in April, I believe, and then quickly took it off the market, which is weird. Why would she take it off? Maybe they had hid the body there, and then, they couldn't have a renter come in until they figured that all out. And then she ended up putting it back for rent. So basically, Susan had moved out of the family home, and she filed for legal separation from Ruben, and she was living in this separate home. That was not searched until after the summer was over, on August 28th. All right, so remember how I said on June 19th, when Paul was being interviewed by investigators, he said that he ended the interview abruptly and had to go help his mom with some concrete stuff? Well, that comes into play here. So she put the home sorry, I have allergies and my throat's a little dry from talking. Let me take a sip of my Red Bull. Bro, I'm inside. All right. So, on August 28th, Susan relists the home for rent for $9.50 a month. She doesn't get a response, and then she lowers it for $8.50, I believe. I think it was $9.50 and then $8.50. In September, a young couple answers and they move in. It wasn't really... Well, I know the home wasn't. The yard was searched several times, but it seems like every time they search the yard, they don't have the right equipment or, do it right. You know what I mean? So, so a young couple answers the ad. The Lassiters, Mary, and I can't remember the husband's name. I should have wrote it down, but I know Mary's the wife, and then her husband moved in too. They started getting postcards from random people in their mail saying, tell your son to cooperate with police and come forward. And they're like, our son's 6 years old. What, why would our son have to come forward to police? not the yard either. She had the blue house, right? I'll show you what I've read about that they had. What's it called? Radar things that they went over, but they were not the whole yard was able to be searched. So, they started getting post cards, and they didn't know what they meant. They were like, "What the hell?" So then one day, Mary pulled up her Acura to the end of the driveway. I think because she wanted to use the hose to rinse off her car. And at the driveway intersects with the backyard, and she finds a single woman's earring and puts it in a Ziploc bag because she's like, "Hey, this might be important. I'm getting all these odd, postcards in the mail saying, for your son to come forward." Yeah, they never search under the planter boxes. Yes, which is huge. Yeah, sorry, I should have added that too. They didn't search the garage or the planter boxes. Oh, here's my baby if y'all haven't seen it yet. He's new. He finally woke up from his little sleep. So, anyway, she finds this little earring that kind of looked like a little teardrop with this little turquoise stone in the middle, right? So she puts it in a bag and she gives it to the police. And then hold on, where was I? Oh yeah, so basically the detective comes to their house and starts questioning them, and they're like, "Hey, look, we found this earring. Here, take this." So then in November 96, Paul Flores moves to Orange County and enlists in the Navy. The Smarts file a civil suit against Paul, and this was right after the OJ civil suit had happened, and they had won. And even though OJ wasn't convicted, OJ was still responsible for the murder of the civil suit. So I'm not sure if they won that. Do you know, Aaron, if they won or not? So they subpoenaed the Lassiters during this civil suit, and that's when the Smarts find out about the earring. The detectives never told the Smarts about the earring. So they wait. Then after the civil suit happened, they waited months to see this earring. They're like, "We need to see this earring. We need to know. We need to know." So then finally they drive to the sheriff's office, and they're like, "Where's this earring?" And they're like, "Oh, the earring was misplaced. It was never put into evidence." So the earring was never booked into evidence, but Mary Lassiter on your own backyard podcast, he did an interview with her, and she just happened to find an earring that looked just like it, so she bought it so she could show it. So, did they find it? The earring? So wait, did they find the earring? Is that what you're saying is on hold, or the civil suit? Oh, the civil suit maybe. So anyway, she's probably talking about the civil suits on hold. So then, basically, she found this earring, and then there was the billboard in town, and she had seen the billboard, and the earring looked eerily similar to this necklace Kristen was wearing. She had pendants on the necklace. Okay, the civil suit is on hold. All right, that's what I thought. So, she's wearing this necklace that had similar pendants on it to the earring that she found. So it's possible that maybe she had a matching set, and she had lost the earring and she had a matching necklace to it because she had noticed that it was very similar, which is really weird because later on she gives the explanation of the earring, and then the sheriff's office say, "No, she's explaining it wrong. There's no turquoise in the earring. It doesn't look like that." But in her original notes or in her deposition, she had said it had turquoise in it. So who knows who's saying right? But anyway, so there was a planter outside of the house. So outside, it's in the front of the house, right? There's two double concrete planters, a concrete bed with stuff planted in it. So, and I think they might have one in the back, but I'm not 100% sure of that. There was a planter, and they had laid double cement in the spot, which Mary's husband thought it was a little weird because you need more soil to grow the plants, but Mary said she would hear a beeping noise that would go off every morning at 4:20 a.m. and it almost sounded like, when an alarm on a watch goes off and it beep, beep, beep. And she would try and figure it out all the time what it was. Her and her mom even went out and started like digging in the bed and sticking things down there to see if they could find out. Yeah, remember when I said Paul ended an interview saying that he had to do concrete work? Well, the neighbors said that they had put the planters on in the summer before the Lassiters had moved in. So right around the time where Kristin Smart went missing. So, oddly enough, there's this beeping noise going off in the planter bed, and they cannot figure out where it's coming from. And they searched for it, they couldn't find it. And then those planter boxes were like they were cutting out the area of the cement to put them in there in the summer of 96 before the Lassiters moved in. Paul said in his police interview that he needed to help his mom with concrete on June 19th. So that lines up the story with them doing the planter beds. So after the Lassiters did their deposition, and so right after the Lassiters did their deposition, Ruben, Flores, and Susan Flores started the process of evicting them right away because they were upset about them doing their deposition. And before they left, they let investigators search the property. But the investigators admitted that their equipment wasn't that good, and they did have dogs on the property, but they really found nothing besides it alerting to the corner of the backyard where there was an aluminum trash can that the floor. No. He just tried to eat a rolled up tissue. No, it's not an egg. Sorry. He just had to rip this out of his mouth. It's a little rolled up tissue. What are you doing? He was like shaking it too, like a puppy. Like that's how they kill their food. They like, now I gotta hide. Hold on, let me hide stuff from him because I'm afraid he's gonna try it. Back to what I was saying. All right, so there was an aluminum trash can right by where Mary Lassiter had found the earring, and the Floreses told them not to use it, and Ruben had come to pick it up one day, and that's right where the dogs had hit. They were also found broken pieces of concrete, which they found a little weird, and they also found stains on the siding from the soil being piled up along the wall. So, like, they saw like these soil stains on the side of the house, which shows that they had piles of dirt leaning on the wall for some time and left a stain there. He's laying on my keyboard now because it's nice and warm. All right, as long as you stay there and don't move, you could stay. So they had dogs search the property, and they found nothing but, they alerted to the corner of the backyard. On November 14th, 1997, Paul Flores is finally deposed, and he refuses to answer any questions based on the advice of his attorney. So basically, they start answering his questions, and he just keeps saying, like, I plead the fifth. Like, I'm not talking. And I found it really interesting that the Floreses have never sold their homes. So, like, here's my thing. If you were getting, like, bamboozled for years and years, spectators and spectators of people standing outside of your home, taking pictures of you, just spying on you, driving by your house, you would think that, maybe you would want to move, but if they have something to hide, they wouldn't move to protect their property. You know what I mean? So I just feel like that's a big reason why they might not have ever moved. So this is the home. Are these the planter beds, Aaron? Is that what you're talking? Are these the ones, or is there one in the back? Yeah, he wouldn't even answer to what his name was. They asked him, like, what his name was, what his sister's name was, and he just kept pleading the fifth, and then, like, just, no, wouldn't answer anything. I don't know if these are the two. I think these are the planners. I don't know if there's another one, but, oh, and here's the earring. She said the earring she found looked like almost identical to that. And then here's the necklace she was wearing in the billboard, which is really close. I mean, that's not the actual thing, but she said it looked just like that. So the earring could have very well matched her necklace, and that's, she probably found her earring there, and they lost it. So on June 19th, the FBI searches Susan Flores' home again. They search the attic and the crawl space under the home, and they determine it's not necessary to dig up the concrete, but the GPR results come up inconclusive. And when they leave the property, the warrant expires, and Paul continues to live a normal life in Southern California, meeting more women to, terrorize. And hey, Aussie True Crime, hey. The defense attorneys are trying to paint the Flores as being harassed and attacked for 26 years, yet they never sold the house and moved yet, which I think is really weird. Like, if you were getting attacked for all these years, why wouldn't you just move? But obviously, I don't think they want to move because they don't want to, let anybody get to any evidence. Now, I just want to say there was a lot of women on this podcast who did interviews and told about their creepy experiences with him. I mean, more than I could count. There was a woman who worked with him, and she drove him. She would be like his designated driver, and he would always bug her for a kiss. And then one night, she wouldn't get out of his car, so he wouldn't get out of her car, so she was like, if you get out of my car, I'll, like, walk you to your door. So he's like, all right. So she walked him to his door, and he, like, picked her up over his shoulder and, like, went inside the apartment and locked the door behind him, and then kept trying to get her to go in his room. Like, he was just really pushy with women. Oh, and there was another woman who I thought I added that in my slide, and now I don't know where it is. But all right, so there was this other woman, right, who it's weird. I swear I added it in there. Well, anyway, there's this other woman who he followed her out to her car. I think it was after work. And he had stuck his hand between her legs and up and grabbed her crotch, right? And then he ran into his car and left. And then later on at work, he threw a handful of onions in her face, chopped onions, threw them in her face, and she beat them up in front of customers, and she got fired for it. I had a whole page that just, like, disappeared. They are. This is really bizarre. Oh, here we go. I missed this whole paragraph, I guess. Paul would often pick up girls physically, like smack the back of their heads and try and push them. I think that's when my camera went out. Try to push them in the freezer. Girl getting into her car. He ran his hand up between her legs and grabbed her crotch, then ran back in his truck. Later, he threw a handful of cut up onions into her face, and she beat him up in front of customers and got fired from Garland's. So yeah, he was just really bizarre. And he like, when, like, in like grade school, where boys kind of like treat you like crap when they like you, like flick your ear and your hair, and like just annoying. He was like that all the time with women. Like, he just, I kind of, like, I get the vibe that he had, like, a learning disability, or he was on the spectrum or something, because he just really, really seemed that he, like, couldn't read a room, or I don't know, like, there was something's off about him. Like, he just couldn't understand social cues, or I don't know, like, just the way people described him, it seems like maybe he had some type of learning disability where he just, he couldn't read a room, or he didn't understand social cues. He just acted really strange all the time. And then when he would drink, he would really act strange. I think he was abused too, Aaron. That's a great point, because it almost seems like he didn't know how to act any other way. Like, he didn't know how to interact with people without being that way. Like, he didn't like he took that way as being like social, like, you know what I mean? He thought that was like how you should be social, and it's not. I was thinking that too. Like, that was definitely on my mind. It's like, why is he like this? Like, why does he think this is like a normal way to be? So the FBI searches the house, and they find nothing. The warrant expires, and then another search of his yard was done with ground penetrating radar in 2007, and they came up with nothing, but they were not able to look everywhere. So where the driveway meets the yard where the earring was found, Susan had built a garage over it, and when sorry, when they had poured the concrete, they used like rebar, I guess, and it was really messing with the radar, so they weren't able to, tell if anything was in there. But they also, do you know why they couldn't search the flower bed? I read that, but I forget why they couldn't actually search the flower bed. But they couldn't search the flower bed either. And then finally, in April of 2021, Paul Flores and Ruben Flores are arrested. Paul is charged with first-degree murder, and Ruben is charged with being an accessory after the fact. And I think Ruben has another charge. I forget what it is. And I believe to this day, 29 different women have come forward and spoken out against Paul Flores. In 2018, the Daily Beast reported on 4 women who said they had been essayed by Paul Flores. According to California Register article, Flores reportedly had an alcohol problem and when drunk hit on girls even if their boyfriends were present. It is also reported that Paul had no friends and would go on to drop out of college and work in menial jobs. The Daily Beast article, quote, one woman said Paul Flores and another teen RAP'd her when she was 15 years old, when she was a 15-year-old high school student in 1994. And 3 others reported being essayed by Flores after Kristin Smart's disappearance. DNA tests were done too, and Susan told them no. Oh, so that they weren't allowed. So Susan told them they couldn't search the flower bed, and that's why they couldn't. Gotcha. So, if I recall correctly, didn't all these women independently report that Paul had like a certain way of doing things, and his modus operandi, MO, was similar in all their cases, and none of them had spoken to each other? And it matched Paul Flores, yeah. So it's just, crazy to me. Do you know if they, like, what exactly did they find anything that made them arrest him? Like, did they find anything new? Have you heard any of that? He gagged them. Yeah, didn't he? He gagged them with he had this like ball gag that had like ropes on it or something. He gagged all the women independently. They all reported the same thing. I'm just curious, I know in an article I read they didn't speak on what exactly led them to arrest him. I don't know if it was all these women coming forward or if they actually had found something, because I believe they searched the home again in 2021. So I'm curious if they had found evidence when they searched in 2021. But I think, this is just my opinion, he knew Derek was gone and that he had an opportunity to, break a, drunk girl up there and, do whatever. And I think he drugged her because of the podcast in your own backyard. That's what happened in the Tara Grinstead case too. It gets people talking again, and then, same thing happened with the Tara Grinstead up and vanished. They did that podcast and it just took off. But and I'm sure all those women came forward after that too. Like, a lot of the women probably came forward after the podcast came out. But I think he had an opportunity, and I mean, from what all the women said, that he always tried to, like, force kissing on them and things like that. Why would he not take advantage of this drunk girl if he tried taking advantage of women who weren't even drunk? Yeah, if I was getting harassed that badly to Pointer Lover, I would have moved myself. I think he brought her back to his room. I think she probably freaked out. And now, mind you, Kristin Smart is a big girl. Like, she was like 6 foot tall. I mean, she was big. Like, she could have probably, beat him up pretty good. I just think she was a big girl. I probably think she maybe tried to fight back, and then he ended up killing her because he knew he was going to get in trouble. Oh, they didn't know his name until his face was on the news for being arrested. No way. Wow. So they all came forward. That's crazy. I'm dying to know what they found. So then I think he 6 foot, 145 pounds. Yeah, that's big for a girl. She probably tried to beat him up, And then he probably killed her. So, she's probably screaming and yelling, making all kinds of noise. So he probably, freaked out, killed her, then called his dad and, told his dad, which would be the perfect time. All the students are gone for Memorial Day. Get up there, get her out of there. 2 blankets were never found from the room that were missing, right? I believe there was 2 blankets. Hold on. Please tell me I still have that up. I had like an article up that there was another piece of evidence too that was reported, and I can't remember what it was. Hold on. Hold on. Okay, so they had the kits done right after, but they didn't know who it was, so they still had his DNA. No way. Wow. Hold on a minute. There was another piece of evidence that so I know that two blankets. Oh, all right, that's what it was. So Paul was seen with a trash can on like a cart at school, wasn't he? Tell me if I'm getting this right. He had like a cart with a trash can, pushing it that night or like the next day or something. He was seen, pushing it. And the 2 blankets from his room that were never found. I think they brought her body to the first home. And then after the police came and knocked at the door about his DUI, I think they moved it to Susan's home and put it in the flower bed. And then I feel like she's in the flower bed. I mean, they would they would really have to, like, why don't, did they ever check the flower, like, have the most recent cops check the flower bed? Because I feel like it would be a lot of work for them to move her body from the flower bed even. I mean, they could have done it over all these years, but I imagine the neighbors would have been watching them like hawks, you know? Yeah. Oh, point lover, yeah. Like 29 women came forward. Is a lot of women he did that to. Yeah, he's gross. This dude, he is gross. Here, I'll show a current picture of him. There's Paul and there's his dad. Oh, they recovered 140 new items of evidence and conducted 91 interviews from 2011 to 2020. So they must have a lot. I'm dying. I wonder, I followed a little bit of the trial, like I've been following the tweets online, but I haven't seen if they have mentioned any evidence yet. Okay, so they can't do it because they need new evidence. Yeah, like I haven't heard them going into specific evidence, like not all of it at one time, but I've heard like different things, like some of the interviews. Yeah, it was, dude. I shot it like 5 times. A current pick of Paul Flores. Let me see if I can find one. So, what was I gonna say? I was just thinking of something important. Now I can't remember what it was. Oh, also, a couple people from the dorm room had said that before she was missing, that they had seen Paul around Kristen's room, like just hanging out there, and like almost like he had a fixation with her and was watching her for a while. Oh, they're getting to it. Okay. That's the most recent one I can find. Let's see if I can find one of him in the corner room. But yeah, they like some people reported that he was like, there he is. That he was reported like spying on her almost before she was killed. Yeah, they said they saw him in her room. Didn't Felipe say they saw him in her friend Felipe said they saw him in her room? All right. I'm going to turn this off and I'll show you my lizards now. But yeah, so guys, the trial is happening right now. Hold on a minute. How do I turn that off? Give me a second, guys. Sorry. Let me check my messages. Hold on. What the heck am I doing? Give me a minute. We just want to sit there. Is it in my... I feel like it might be in my, what's it called? And I don't remember how to get to that. But anyway, I'll bring it. Steve Fleming. I don't see it. What are you sending me a picture? Oh, Steve Fleming was the guy. Okay. All right, let me get my lizard. So yeah, the trial's going on like right now. I think it's supposed to be like a couple months. They have one jury for Paul and one jury for his dad, and they're having one jury deliberate on his dad's sentence and one, or like if he should be sentenced or not, and one deliberating on Paul's. And it's supposed to go on, I think, for like months. It's going to be a really long trial. It's not being televised, so if you want to keep up, you got to follow like your own backdoors, tweets. There's this lady Megan Healy who's tweeting, and I'll do updates, of course. You know, I'll probably do like maybe like once a week, or after, because I don't want to just do with like one update at a time because it'll be short shows. But I'll wait till there's like a couple good updates and then I'll do an update show. But let me bring this little guy back. Don't go anywhere. I'm going to try and bring several in at a time so you can see all of them, but I have to run out and grab them because I can't leave them in this room by themselves or they will. All right, say bye, no name. There you go. How cute is he? He likes my keyboard because it's nice and warm. Yeah, he don't have a name yet, so you'll have to, him and his brother, him and his sister, whatever, if they're boy or girl, I don't know, but we'll have to just come up with neutral names or just name them if they're boys, and then I'll change them later if they're girls. All right, hold on. Let me go get my other babies. I'm having a reptile show. All right. I'm back. Okay. I'll get the picture. All right. I have two at a time, so that's how I'll have to do this. Oh boy, he looks horrible. Can you see it? He looks like shit now. He don't even look the same. Guess a year in prison ain't doing him so good, huh? All right. This is Rosie. She is one of my large bearded dragons. She is orange and she has these pretty blue bars. I don't know if you can see. And then under her chin, she has some spots, some periwinkle spots. Like, what the hell are you doing to me, lady? She is like my mama girl. She is so sweet. She loves to sit in her window and watch TV. They were Lex, they're Asian water monitors. My kid has been begging for one, and I've been telling him no because they're too big and we don't have room. And of course, Dave went to a reptile show with little Dave, and his son wanted a little snake, and they came back with 2 Asian water monitors. So that's going to be fun. We're going to have to build an 8-foot cage in our house when they get bigger, so we'll see. But yeah, this is Rosie. She's so sweet. She's my sweet girl. She's very big. I mean, she's not long, but she's very large and in charge here, you know? She even got little boobies on the side, if you can see. Show me your boobies, Rosie. She is a... Yeah, they get huge legs. Huge. Like, they're like just a little bit smaller than Komodo dragons. For sure. They're like the size of dogs. And he got 2, which I was not okay with. He was like, oh yeah, we'll surprise you when you get home. You'll see. And then I got home and I was like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, I was expecting, like, you know, a small snake or a frilled dragon of some sort, you know, not an Asian water monitor for sure. So I am sweating. Like, I am sweating my butt off right now. I had to keep the air off because I don't want them to get too cold. So, but yeah, she is a hypo. I think it's called a hypomelanistic. Hold on. So let me look it up real quick and I'll tell you. Yeah. She is a hypomelanistic bearded dragon, which means she has a lighter coloring. So melanin is a pigment that makes the animal's skin appear darker. Some bearded dragons are bred to have less melanin. So it's a recessive trait, causing the bearded dragon to make significantly less melanin, which results in lighter colorization. So typical, wild, not special bearded, like just regular bred bearded dragons. You're welcome, Porter Lover. Typical bearded dragons are usually darker in color and brown, but some are bred specially to be hypomelanistic, and she is bred that way. So she's also translucent, which means when she was a baby, you would be able to see through her skin. They're able to tell if they're translucent is they or no, she's not translucent, sorry. Translucent, it means their eyes will appear black. She's just hypo. So the way to tell if she's hypo is she'll have clear nails. If she had the melanin in her nails would appear dark, like they would be dark brown. So let me show you. See how her nails are clear? That means that she's hypomelanistic. So if you have bearded dragons and you want to know what they are, if they have clear nails, that means they're hypomelanistic. Now, if they are translucent, which means you can see through them as a baby, they will have like black eyes. Like you won't, they'll have a pupil, but you won't be able to see it. Now, Rosie, if you look at her eyes, she's like, lady, what are you doing to me right now? You can see she has golden eyes. You can see the and around her eye. So she is not translucent. Her eye would appear to look all black if she was translucent, but she's not. So you can see her color. She's like a coral orange. She has some periwinkle. Her back. She's beautiful. She's a beautiful girl, right? All right. Over there. Sit on my bed for a minute. Okay. Go ahead. All right. This one, don't tell anybody. He is my favorite. This is Romy. Romy is handicapped. He has metabolic bone disease. As you can see, his body looks much different than my other lizards. He doesn't really hold himself up very well. He kind of slides on the floor. He moves kind of like a snake. He can't really use his back legs that well, so he, just like slithers along with his front legs. Right, Ron? Sorry, I woke you up, baby. He was living he was living in a car. Here you can see him up close. He's a little mad at me because he was sleeping, so you can see his beard. It's black right now. He's pissed. He was living in a car. Right, yeah, you were living out of a car. You had no lights, and you were in this dirty sand bin. His mom had lights for him, but she, didn't have anywhere to plug them in because she was living in a car. She had just recently lost her home, and she knew that she needed to get rid of him because she just, so she asked me if I would take him, and I did. And he goes everywhere with us. I have pictures of him on all our vacations. He's even, so we got this family photo done. I don't know if you guys have it around where you guys live, but in New Jersey they have this thing called Old Time Photo, which you can dress up as like cowboys at a bar saloon, and you can take a picture as like a family. I don't really want to show my kid on the computer, but I'll show you guys the picture because it's so cute. Well, anyway, I got Ruben a cowboy hat and I brought him with us, and he got in the picture too. It's really hard to see, but I'll see if you'll be able to see it. Let me find it. I'm just gonna hold it up to the screen. So see how we're at come on, a saloon. If you look at my hand, you can see him in my hand. You see him in my hand? Yeah, so I dressed him up like a cowboy, and he came with us. He has a very, very, very curved spine, as you can see. This is because so metabolic bone disease is a disease that bearded dragon. All right, so it's very important when you get a pet bearded dragon that you do your research beforehand, because many people go to the pet store and the pet stores don't give you good advice, and then you slowly kill your dragons. Which is why it became so important for me to adopt dragons, because I just saw so many of this happening. People buy them as like throwaway pets for their kids and really don't take it seriously, and then their kids don't take care of them and they die. So I rescue them. I don't buy them, but Rome. So their heat light helps them digest their food. If not, they will get impacted and they won't be able to poop. They have to get baths once a week, which help their digestive system, and it helps them get some water in their system. They also need another light that's separate from a heat light called a UVB light, which mimics the sun. Did you ever see like the lights you put over plants to help plants grow? It's kind of like that. That helps their body convert calcium into their bones. They also need this calcium dust that you pour on their food to help them get more of a calcium intake. Then the light will help convert the calcium into their bones and keep their bones nice and strong. Well, if you don't have that light, some people only think you need a heat light with lizards, but that's not true. You need both lights. If you don't have that light, their bones get very, very brittle and will turn almost into like cartilage and bend and stuff. So Rome's spine curved really bad when he was a baby from not being properly taken care of, and then it healed, and then it was stuck like this. So this doesn't hurt him or seem to bother him, but it really doesn't work with his movement very well when he tries to move. So all right, say he's trying to turn right again. So when he's trying to turn, yeah, don't tell the others, please. But when he's trying to turn with his curve, it's easy for him. But when he's trying to turn the other way against it. He'll go around in a corner and he'll flip himself. And I promise you, I find him multiple times a day on his back, just laying there waiting for me to come get him. The problem with this is lizards do not have a diaphragm like we do. So he can stay like that for maybe an hour or two, but then after that, his organs will start falling down and crush his lungs. Also, I keep glitching for some reason. Also, sometimes he flips under his heat light, and by the time I get to him, he'll be really warm and roasting, and it could totally, if he can't get away and he's too hot, he could die. So I have a camera in his tank that I check often while I'm not home, but he's actually pretty smart. He seems to know not to, run around when I'm not there. It's like he knows. But I do find him several times a day flip, so we're always keeping a watchful eye on him to check on him to make sure he hasn't flipped in his tank. He was super grumpy when I first got him, but now I dress him up in all kinds of cute little outfits. He was actually in my thumbnail. If you guys checked out my thumbnail at all, he was smiling in my thumbnail. I might be able to show it on the screen. Hold on. So you can see it. I'll share the thumbnail in case you guys didn't see it. There's Romy, right there, smiling. How cute was that? And like Hulk, there's my Hulk. But Rome is, oh, you have old time photos too. I know, I love him, and we dressed him up as a little cowboy. He was so cute. So yeah, he's my baby, and he is spoiled and goes everywhere with us. And I just think I just have a special place in my heart for Romy because he's handicapped, and he was my first rescue, and he's getting older now, so I worry about him, but he is just such a sweetie. I have endless amounts of pictures of him and my son together. I'm thinking about making a lizard calendar, though, because I have them all every holiday. I make them take pictures and stuff and do cute things with them, so let me see if I have any cute pictures of Roman here that you guys can look at real quick. I have this picture. I have. He's right inside here, yep. No. Hold on. Do I have any here? As they were camping in the downloads, maybe. I thought I had one of him with a bow tie. I have one of them with a bow tie somewhere, but alright. Let me go get my other one. I'll be right back. Lucky lucky they are sleeping because they aren't getting mad at each other. Okay. All right. So, this is Bo. We call her Egg. Yeah, it is a full-time job. This is Bo. We call her Egg because she lays a lot of unfertilized eggs. Girl bearded dragons just do that in breeding season sometime, but she does it way more than she needs to, and it just totally savages her body. This poor girl, she looks like an old deflated bag. But she is beautiful. She is this golden yellow color. Like her whole body is golden yellow. Now, as you can see, I got these two so I can compare them because they're drastically different. All right, so look at her back, right? It's smooth. You see her scales. They're smooth, almost like skin. You see? And this guy, his scales are very, 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 very spiky. You can see they're like wild looking. Hold on. Jesus. Let me see if I can. Here we go. See his spikes? They look they're cone shaped and they're very spiky. So, hey Jill Jax, I'm having a little after reptile show and teaching everyone about reptiles. Gomez here is a dunner, which means usually regular bearded dragons have teardrop shaped scales. They're in the shape of like teardrops. Dunners have cone shaped scales that stick straight out, so they give the appearance of like a very wild, spiky. I wish I brought in a third one so you could see the difference with all three, because Bo, aka Egg, is much different than him or even a regular one. But he's called a dunner because he has a different scale shape, which are like, oh yeah, you'll have to catch. I did Kristen in the beginning, so you'll have to watch the replay. He is a 0, which is pretty much like albino. He has no melanin. So there's hypomelanistic, which means less melanin. And then there's 0s with no melanin. So he literally has no pigment at all. He's just white. So he's all white, as you can see. He still has a black beard though when he's mad though, but yeah. All white. He's on the smaller side. He's actually pretty small. I rescued him too. He was a little itty bitty skinny mini when I got him from his mama. She couldn't afford to feed him anymore during the pandemic. And I syringe feeding him until he gained weight. And now he's a chunk. He's also, well, obviously he has clear nails because he has no melanin. And he's not translucent because, I don't know if you can see his eyeballs. Oh, it's backwards. See, he has golden eyeballs. There you go. Oh, she's missing a bit. She does great getting around. I'm sure she does. Rome does good too. He slides his little back feet. All right, go. All right, so Egg. Let's see something. All right, I was going to show you how I can sex them, but she need a bath first. All right, so now she has almost no scales and no spikes, as you can see. Very different from him. She is called a leatherback, which they take bearded dragons with small scales, and they breed them to make them. I'll read the actual description of it. Give me a second. Let me look it up for you. She's clearly hypomelanistic because she is of lighter color, like bright yellow. So a leatherback actually has more scales than a regular bearded dragon. But because the scales are much smaller on the dragon's back feels smoother to the touch, hence the name the leatherback. And then a dunner, which Gomez is, a leatherback has a smooth, polished look, and dunners have an almost prehistoric look in comparison. Their more rugged appearance of a dunner bearded dragon includes spikes on the back, while leatherbacks have spikes only on the sides of their head. So you see how the dunner looked very, All right, so she's hypomelanistic because she's light, and she is translucent. Remember I said translucent dragons have black eyes? I don't know if she will open for you, but let's see. Hey. Hello. Hey. You gonna wake up, Missy? You wake up for a minute, Will you wake up? She's out. She doesn't want to open her eyes for you, but Bojangles. So, but wait, we might get it. Oh, we might get a little eye. Hold on. She has all black eyes. Open your eye. Come on. I don't know if you could tell, but her eyes are all black. She's not in the mood. Alright, so another thing about bearded dragons is when they fall asleep, they get very they get out of it. You know what I mean? They like sleep hard. So she probably won't really wake up for you, but she loves cuddles. She's the one who cuddles with everyone, and she loves escaping her cage and hiding in some remote part of the house, and I can't find her for like a couple hours, and then finally she'll come out. Or she'll escape and run back to her cage and sleep outside of it. But yeah, she's sleepy. She's not in the mood to talk with anybody, I guess, right now. Oh, and she's named after, if anyone watches Vanderpump Rules, Stassi's boyfriend, Bo. I just love that guy, and I just love the name. So, and then Gomez. Say hi, Gomez. He's so white, you can see the difference in their color, how white he is compared to her yellow, and he has no melanin. So they're like complete opposites. Okay, let's go get another one. I probably won't get my regular ones. Hulk has a respiratory infection, and he's not feeling well, and I don't want to stress him out more. My other ones are just regular bearded dragons. They don't have any special gene or coloring. I will introduce them later, but I just want to get done the ones that are have, like special genes and stuff to teach you guys about them. Also, I'm gonna go get my snakes right now. So there's moth in here. I know a lot of people don't like snakes, so I'm just warning you. But please, I would beg you, if you don't like snakes, you should stay, so I can show you that snakes aren't how you think they maybe are. They're the sweetest things ever, and they're really cool, and I think you guys will really like them. So If you don't like snakes, I'm warning you if you want to leave, but I would suggest that you stay just so you can see them because they're lovely and they're super sweet and they're all really nice. And I will be right back.
Just been running from the whole time. Oh, where the fuck did he go?
Here for a minute, don't go. So it was probably really not smart of me to bring these two together, but this is a leopard gecko. This is Rexa. My son wanted to name her Rex, but then we found out she's a girl, so we just added an A on the end. This is a leopard gecko. Their care is a little different than bearded dragons. They need a heating pad because they digest their food from belly heat. And they require 3 hides, a regular hide, a cool hide, and a moist hide for shedding, which is like a wet paper towel and a hide. Sorry. They look like they're smiling, and they look like leopards a little bit, so that's why she's a leopard gecko. My snake is in my bed here. Hold on. Let me figure out how I'm going to do this. Here, you go in a box for a minute. So it won't go nowhere. I will be doing. Go in here. She'll tell you that. Okay, give me a second. All right. This. Ow! My finger. This is Titan.
Other one was down there. He went left.
He is my first snake. He is the sweetest thing ever. I mean, literally. I can pet him and.
He went down.
Like. I can pet under his chin. It's like, please stop touching me. I can boop him. He would never do anything. He's sweet, actually. Every night where I walk by his cage, I see him stick his head out. Like, he wants to know what's going on all the time. He likes checking things out. He is a ball python. He's just a regular ball python, special, more for anything. Ball pythons are actually super docile. If you want like a beginner snake, they're great for a beginner snake. They obviously are not venomous, or I wouldn't be handling him like this. They're constrictors. They squeeze their food to kill them. And a fun fact about I don't feed them live mice. It's actually frowned upon to feed your snake live mice or live whatever, because they usually get injured trying to eat a live mouse. So I give them pre-frozen ones that I thaw and give to them. Rats will usually bite the snake or fight them. So it's better to, if your snake will take pre-frozen killed food to give them, pre-killed food. He's very sweet though. They normally don't bite. Biting usually happens when, so like, I can tell when he's hungry, and he's hungry now, so I probably shouldn't have picked him up out of his tank. They come out, they'll get more active when they're hungry, come out at night, be looking around, and you can tell he'll pop out of his hide more, waiting for me to feed him when he's hungry. If you handle the mouse before and you stick your hand in there, they can't see very well, and they're heat sensors, so they'll sense your body heat, which our body heat is pretty high. And if they smell a mouse on your fingers, they won't recognize your scent and they'll bite. And that's how a lot of people get bitten, because they are mistaken as food. Otherwise, they don't really, they don't really try and bite people. I mean, I could mess with this guy all day long. I could literally just like boom, 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 touch his face, and he will never bite me. Like, they just aren't like that, you know. Like, snakes, almost all snakes will avoid biting. A lot of bites come from them being stepped on, or, they really will try and avoid that at all costs, or at least give you some kind of warning with like a hiss or something like that. But these guys are very, very, very docile and, don't want to do that. And they also, what's really cool, is so how you decide how big of a mouse or a rat. Rats are better because they have less fat, more protein. But you decide on the biggest part of their body. So here would be about the biggest part of his body. So I would give him a rat the size of that. Even though his head is super small, this guy can unlock his jaw and stretch it, twice the size of his, as big, as wide as his body to eat it. And let me go get my other two snakes, and then another day I will do my regular bearded dragons. But let me go get my last two snakes. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm gonna have to do one at a time because it's too much for me. This is Annabelle. She is my biggest girl. She's a spider gene, which is a frowned upon like breeding morph. It's frowned upon to breed these morphs specifically. Spider genes are known to give like this wobble, where if she's heavily focused on something, she'll like wobble her head. She's large and in charge. She's very big and very strong. As you can see, she's like significantly fatter than my other one. She's a little bit more jumpy. Like, she doesn't like to be held as much. So you can see she's in a defensive position. If I move too fast, she'll panic for a little bit until she gets used to me. Now, you see when she does that S position, that is a defensive position. Just know that if you're ever handling a snake, they can only strike as far as their S. So, keep your hand. If you see a snake in the defensive position, it just means that they're up on her guard. It doesn't necessarily mean she's going to attack. She's just doing that. That's just what they do. She can only attack as far as the S stands out. She won't attack me though. She's just a little But yeah, she's a spider pastel. Spider kind of has like these little stringy lines. You can see how she's much lighter in color. So that's the pastel color. And then those little lines make her a spider. I guess because it looks like a spider web a little bit. I'm getting nice now. You're being a little nicer now. When she gets used to me, she'll let me, get a little closer to her. It's alright. I'm not gonna do that. But she's hungry and warm, so this probably wouldn't be the best time for me to take her out when she's hungry, but she's being good. You just get a feel for it. Like, they eat once a month when they start coming out and looking like they're hungry. They can't see that good. They rely a lot on smell and heat tracking. They have these little things in their nose. Let me see if I can show you. See those little things on her nose? Those little pits. There you go. Say hi. Those little pits on her nose are where she does the heat tracking and the sensing. Oh, she's heavy. And she's strong. When she wraps around me, I have a hard time getting off. Alright, I'm going to put her back and I'm going to get my last snake and that'll be it. Oh. Okay, final one. This is Monty Python. My dad was always a big Monty Python guy, so I watched a lot of Monty Python in my younger years, so I thought it would be a fitting name for him. He is another ball python. They're all ball pythons, all the ones I have. He is a lemon blast. He's yellow. He's a little dull now. I think he's going to shed, even though I think he just shed it recently. But he is beautiful. And he has eye caps right now. I should do this one day just to show y'all. I can sit here. You know how many times I've had to get eye caps off his eyes, which is shed. That he gets shed over his whole body, including his eyes, and sometimes the shed gets stuck on his eyeballs. And I have to rub his eyeballs like that to get it off. It won't come off now because it needs to be moist, so I'll stick him in some water, let him soak for 15 minutes or so, and then when he gets out, I just rub my fingers across his eyeballs, try and get him off. He's so nice though. He'll just sit in my hands and let me do whatever to him. So, just saying, I know people think snakes are terrifying and mean and they bite because the media makes them look that way, but I can literally rub my fingers across this guy's eyeballs without him doing anything to me. So I just, I think, reptiles are very misunderstood. When I first got him, he had a respiratory infection and I had to give him needles for weeks like I have to do with my one lizard Hulk. So just hanging up. Let me get there you go. But yeah, I can literally just mess with him all day and he will just let me do it. No issues. And hold on, I'll show my pictures of my lizards real quick so y'all can see a couple before I go. Alright. There's Bo, the yellow one that I brought up. And then here's Hulk dressed as Dog the Bounty Hunter for Halloween. It was in October when the Gabby Petito stuff was going on, so I just thought it was fitting to dress him up like Dog the Bounty Hunter. And he totally rocked it. I dress them up every holiday. I have they actually make Bearded Dragon costumes at the pet store. So every year I grab all the Bearded Dragon costumes I can get and dress them up. There's Romy smiling. Hold on, I have one. Oh, here's the Easter one. Gomez is white, so I dressed him up as the Easter bunny. And I don't know if I have any more. There's Hulk sticking his head out as Log. I'll have to show you guys more pictures next time when I have them prepared. I don't have a lot prepared right now. Let me see it here. Yeah, next time I'll have all my holiday pictures for you, and I'll share all my holiday pictures at the end. But, I'm going to call tonight because I've been on here for like 2.5 hours, and probably keeping poor Brittany J from going live. I hope she did already. And, thank you all for coming, and I hope you loved all my reptiles as much as I do, and I hope you, see them in a different light, because I feel like I just strive to do that, because I feel like they get such a bad rap because people think they're so scary, right, Martin? People think they're so scary. You're not. No, you're not. No. And, I just don't want people to be... He's getting annoyed with me because I keep trying to get his eye cap off. But, yeah, they're just super, especially the snakes. They're super docile and they're super nice. Now, I'm not recommending that you kiss your snake and grab its face and all that, because other snakes might not be okay with it. But as long as you know your limits, and most snakes are okay with this stuff as long as you handle them and get used to them. I'm sure there's some ones that are timid and wouldn't let people do this, but they can be like this if you try. And thank you all for coming. And Pointer Lover, thank you so much for sending me a Cash App. I really appreciate it. And I will make sure to get a little treat for all my pets from you. And I appreciate you all so much. And maybe next stream, I'll get all my calendar pictures together. You guys can help me put together a lizard calendar. I could sell it as like merch or something. It'd be so fun. Alright, guys. I will talk to you later. Good night. Say good night, Monty. Here. Say good night. He says good night, everyone. Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna that's it. Nice day, bye.